So what's up guys, I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another zombies video on the channel, where today we are back with another World War II zombies video, and we have some secret coding to debunk. This is going to be very interesting. This reveals some super awesome, interesting information about the zombie storyline for World War II. As always, if you're excited, leave me a like rating. That is always very appreciated. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already on the channel. Leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Are you excited for World War II zombies? And without further ado, let's get into this. So if you didn't know, yesterday Call of Duty released a new website called COD WW2/classified. And if you click onto the website, I will leave the link for it down in the description, you will find that the first page is an Enigma machine. These were a series of electromechanical rotor cipher machines developed and used in the early to mid 20th century to protect commercial, diplomatic and military communication, and invented by German engineer Arthur Scheerbus near the end of World War I. And even though there are different type of Enigma models for the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians, these were most notably used by the Nazi Party during World War II. Now you may be saying, Eli, well, do we have any passcodes or codes to actually put in this? Well, actually, remember, again, I think it was just yesterday or the day before, we had this image. This is the first and only teaser we've had so far for World War II zombies. But what's cool is actually if you saturate this image, turn the saturation up, the brightness, the contrast, do a little mixing around of the colors, you can actually see hidden on the side of this soldier's hat, there is some coding. And actually, there are some letters that read IUFDJ BHLOP GMUBA. Like I said, they're very hard to see, and it's probably even more difficult to see on the video, so you're probably best if you want to check this out for yourself, doing it for yourself. But anyway, those are the codes that you find on the hat of this zombie. This is the only code that we found so far, I believe, and it's just, you know, is it just a coincidence that just yesterday COD gave us, or Sledgehammer Games gave us, this decoder to use? So if you actually put this code in, when you put all 15 letters into this decoder, it will give you a message, and this message reads, "A new horror rises." It's clear from this and the fact that this cipher was found on the helmet of this zombie that this is to do with zombies. We've already had the Sledgehammer developers tell us that this is going to be a horror game mode. This is one of their first horror games since Dead Space. This is going to be a totally new experience to anything they've ever done before. Now, getting back to this decoder, so when you put those 15 words in, you will get a new horror rises, but then it will take you over to this page where we see two different documents. On the front of these documents, it seems like we have four different signatures for four different characters. I was thinking, since this is to do with zombies, and what does that usually mean? Well, are these the signatures of our four different characters we are playing as in zombies? I can't tell out what their names are, besides from one possibly could be Jack. The others are too difficult to make out, but that would make sense since in zombies we usually have four characters, and on the front here we see we have four different signatures, so possibly the names of our four characters that we are playing as. But what's more interesting is when you open this document, you will find two different images. The first image on the left is of Frederick Barbarossa. It says Sancti Imperator Romanus, and I believe that translated from Latin to English means Holy Roman Emperor. And then at the bottom it says Frederick Barbarossa, who is the person in the image. Frederick I was the Holy Roman Emperor from 1155 until his death. He was elected King of Germany at Frankfurt on the 4th of March 1152. He became King of Italy in 1155 and was crowned Roman Emperor on the 18th of June. Historians consider him among the Holy Roman Empire's greatest medieval emperors. He combined qualities that made him almost appear superhuman to his contemporaries. His longevity, his ambition, his extraordinary skills at organization, his battlefield acumen, and his political perspicuity among his contributions to Central European society and culture, including the re-establishment of Corpus Juris Civilis. I think I pronounced that right, or the Roman rule of law. So we have this guy, Frederick Barbarossa, who was in charge of the Holy Roman Emperor, the King of Italy, King of Germany, and King of Burgundy. He embarked on the Third Crusade and apparently was a really popular figure, so it's interesting that we're seeing him within these documents to do with zombies, but actually maybe this isn't about Frederick himself, but more about Operation Barbarossa. Obviously an operation named after the former king of Germany, but Operation Barbarossa was the codename for Nazi Germany's invasion of the Soviet Union during World War II, which launched in 1941 and lasted for 5 months, 1 week and 6 days. The operation was driven by an ideological desire to conquer the Western Soviet Union so that it could be repopulated by Germans. In the operation, the German forces achieved major victories and occupied some of the most important economic areas of the Soviet Union, mainly the Ukraine, and inflicted as well as sustained heavy casualties despite their success. Although the German offensive stalled in the Battle of Moscow and was subsequently pushed back by the Soviet winter counteroffensive, the Red Army repelled the Wehrmacht's strongest blows and forced the unprepared Germans into the War of Attrion. The Wehrmacht would never again mount a simultaneous offense along the entire strategic Soviet Axis front. The failure of the operation drove Hitler to demand further operations of increasingly limited scope inside the Soviet Union, such as Case Blue and Operation Citadel, all of which eventually failed. The failure of Operation Barbarossa proved a turning point in the fortunes of the Third Reich. Most importantly, the operation opened up on the Eastern Front, in which more forces were committed than in any other theatre of war in world history. The Eastern Front became the site of some of the largest battles, most horrific atrocities, and highest casualties for the Soviet and Axis units alike, all of which influenced the course of both World War II and, subsequently, the history of the 20th century. So I'm more than likely thinking that this image has more of a link to Operation Barbarossa than the actual Roman Emperor himself, although the operation is named after him. We can see that Barbarossa was a massive turning point in the war, in which the failure of the operation eventually drove Hitler to demand further operations, which led to the biggest battles in history on the Eastern Front, millions of other people dying. It was a very gruesome time. Now, what exactly this point in the war has to do with our zombies mode? Possibly one of our characters was fighting in this war. Since it was between the Germans and the Soviet Union, is possibly one of the characters we are playing Russian and was part of the Soviet Union. As we know from the very small storyline we've heard so far about this zombies mode, it is about the Nazis' last-ditch attempt to create an army before the end of the war. The Nazis are about to lose the war. They're going to try one last final ditch attempt to win it, and they are going to do this by creating an undead army of zombies. Is it possible that this battle has a massive implication on the Nazis trying to do that, or is one of the players, one of the characters we are going to play as Russian and was fighting in here, or are we playing as a German? We have so little information right now that we don't know, but actually we also have a second image on this document that we had, and this is a portrait of a young man, Raphael. That's what the text says at the bottom, and actually this is a real image. Again, this is the real life oil painting and was painted somewhere between 1513 and 1514 by the Italian High Renaissance Old Master painter and architect Raphael Sanzio da Urbino. Sorry dude, I do not know how to pronounce your name, but this painting was stolen by the Nazis from Poland. Many historians regard it as the most important painting missing since World War II. The identity of exactly who this person in the painting is unverified. We don't know. Many people say that this is just a self-portrait of Raphael himself, but the painting was brought to Poland along with Leonardo da Vinci's Lady with an Ermine and many other Roman antiques by Prince Adam and Princess Rosabella on their travels to Italy in 1793. But actually, at the onset of the Nazi invasion of Poland in 1939, numerous pieces from the museum museum, including the portrait of the young man and Leonardo da Vinci's piece, were collected from a museum and hidden at a residence in Sayanawa. But upon the invasion, these pieces were later discovered by the Gestapo, which was a group of officers administrated by the SS and working for Hans Frank, who was Hitler's appointee as governor of general government. From the collection that the Gestapo found, these 3 paintings were brought back to Germany and decorated Frank's residence in Krakow before they were sent to Berlin. And then in January of 1945, a few months before the end of World War II, Frank brought the paintings back from Germany to Krakow for his own use at the Royal Warwell Castle. And that is where the portrait of a young man was last seen. When the Germans evacuated Krakow later that month ahead of the Soviet offensive, Frank took the paintings with him to Silesia, and then to his own villa in Neuhaus am Riese? I don't know how you pronounce that. But the Americans arrested Frank on May the 3rd, 1945. A load of paintings were retrieved and claimed on behalf of the museum that they were originally from. However, the portrait of a young man and 843 other artifacts were missing from storage. It suggested that if any of these were to reappear today, especially the painting of a young man, they would be worth in excess of $100 million. This painting of, a young man worth that much, stolen from a museum in Poland by the Nazis, and was last seen in use in the Warwell Castle. And until this day, it still is missing. What's happened to it, whether it's just destroyed or whether it's hidden in storage somewhere, we have no idea. But those are the backgrounds behind these 2 images, one of Frederick and one of this painting, something that went missing and was stolen by the Nazis, and then the other one is about the leader of the Roman Empire and a massive operation called Barbarossa. What's interesting about this is the fact that I noticed that these paintings in the end, or just before they were taken to his villa, were actually taken to Silesia. Does that for you guys ring a bell? Silesia, or more specifically Lower Silesia, is the location of Riese, the giant. Possibly, have we got a link here between World War II Zombies and Riese? As we know, when you load up Riese, it says located somewhere near Low Silesia, Germany, and this painting of Raphael was taken to Silesia. Since the giant was a facility of Group 935 who were working alongside the Nazi party to create an undead army, obviously, or I'm thinking, we don't know this for sure yet, but I would think that both Treyarch and Sledgehammer Games would have totally different universes, so Group 935 won't be involved in the story of Sledgehammer Games because they are 2 different universes. But what if they aren't? What if they are actually in the same universe? I mean, that kind of wouldn't line up to Treyarch's story, since Treyarch's story is of Group 935 trying to create an undead army, and Sledgehammer's story is of the Nazi party trying to create an undead army. We know it was specifically Group 935 and not the Nazis exactly who created them, so who knows? We don't know as of yet if we are in the same universe as Treyarch or in a different one. However, Silesia is a location that this painting was taken to. That's something interesting to take about. Possibly they could have come across the location of Riese if we are in the same universe. But that's everything for this video. Let me know your thoughts on it down in the comment section below. It's definitely interesting, and honestly, what they're doing with this Enigma machine, I cannot wait. There's already other campaign information that you can find within here, but since specifically I'm a Zombies YouTuber, I'm probably not going to cover that, although if there's more information coming out about the campaign, I'll see where we can go. If you guys want it, let me know in the comment section below. Anyway, if you enjoyed the video, it took an awfully long time to do research on this, and so far it sounds awesome. Leave a like rating, let me know your thoughts in the comments, make sure you are subscribed for more Zombies videos, and of course, I will see you all in the next video. Thank you for watching, and goodbye, or guten Tag, whatever you say. Thank you guys, see you later.